Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Photography 101 episode in this series. This is probably the favorite style of video that I do make. I know that it doesn't, these don't get a lot of views. Most of my viewers and subscribers are here for sports content, specifically hockey content. So a lot of those people just kind of skip these videos. And if you are one of those people who watch every single video just because you like maybe what I do or whatever, but you're not really into photography, I really appreciate you coming to join us for this one. But to the photography audience, thank you guys specifically for coming back and seeing another one of these. So we're going to take a look at your guys' photos in this episode. We've got Alex, Jordan, Kyle, Morgan, and Tony, the Lonely Macaroni. So we've got 5 people here to 5 people's photographs to look at, and let's get into it. All right, Alex is going to be up first, and ooh, okay, nice. That's cool. That's awesome. This tells an awesome story. I really, really like this photo a lot. Shutter speed wise, I see some blurriness in this little guy here. So I assume when you took the photo, you didn't just take it as the train passed. You were panning with the train, which is why it's in focus for the most part, or it's not blurry for the most part. But the trees in the background are, and the boy is. And your it actually do have some information here. Your shutter speed was 1/320th of a second. So if you were shooting at like 1/600th of a second, you might have been okay there. But motion blur is actually a good thing in this situation from this perspective where the background is moving and your subject is not blurry. But this boy here, it would have been so nice if he was if there's no movement there. But still, it tells an whoa, what did I just do? It tells an sorry about that. It tells an awesome story. So just a amazingly composed photograph. And you can see this guy waving back. Awesome. And we were missing some detail kind of in the train, so I just bumped up the shadows there a little bit, brought back the highlights, added some contrast. Maybe this black and white would even work. No, it works okay in black and white. But yeah, that's awesome. Excellent job. I really like that photograph. Next up, ooh, another train-ish. So this is a long exposure. I'm not going to look. I've got my mouse on the photograph, so it hides the actual information. I'm just going to try and guess the exposure length here. So you shot this on a tripod. You could have gone the typical 30 seconds, which this probably is 15 seconds. So that's cool. So there was a train there. Now it's not because of the long exposure, which is awesome. I wonder what this looks like in black and white. I actually prefer it in color. I think it's a little bit too warm though. Maybe add some contrast. But this is an awesome photo. I might bring this down like that. But think about where your eye goes in this photo. This has so many leading lines. And I'll just point them out here. The yellow line that leads your eye this way, the track line that leads your eye that way, this track line that leads your eye that way, the top of the fence that leads your eye that way, the train light here that's part of the long exposure, this light here, it's all bringing your eye into the focus point, which is in one of the thirds. I'll bring up the thirds, or it's close to a third in the photo, which is really great. You even have this one over here coming in like this and kind of like that. So there's a lot that goes into photography from a really subtle subconscious kind of process. You have to think about where your eye leads you. I'm just going to undo this so you can see the photo again. So this is awesome. You composed this photo totally correct. Very good job. Next up, ooh, a puppers. Nice. 1/125th of a second. That is definitely too slow in a winter scene. Absolutely. There's a ton of light bouncing around with all the snow and the white on the trees. So definitely watch your shutter speed. You're at 1/125th of a second up here if you can't see it on the top right. So I noticed that because he was a little bit blurry. He or she, sorry. And center of the frame, but not in the middle, which is great. I might even bring this up a little bit, kind of like that. I'd like to see more detail in him, so we'll bring up the shadows, maybe bring down the highlights a little bit. Yeah, That's cool. Nicely composed. Just watch your shutter speed. Ah, this is cool. I love this. This is awesome. See the blades of grass on the line of focus, or the depth of field? It's fantastic. Look at the chromatic aberration on this one. That is, wow. I have not seen chromatic aberration that bad in a while. And the tool is like, nope. It's too bad. I can't do anything about it. We can remove that with some color sliders and some other ways. There's lots of ways to get rid of that. But anyway, this is such an awesome photograph. This is fantastic. I really like this. I'm personally, just in a subjective preference, I'd like to see a little bit more contrast, maybe a little bit more vibrance, not too much though. And watch the highlights. I don't know. I could spend all time on this photo, all kinds of time on this photo, but this is awesome. Very well done. Your horizon is on the line of third, basically almost exactly. Awesome depth of field, tells a story. Perfect. Cool. This one's nice too. That's great. And you're shooting this one at 1/3200th of a second, which is exactly what you should do here in this situation. Waves are constantly moving, so you need to shoot at a fast shutter speed to get stuff like this. That is awesome. That's really cool. I kind of want to see that right on a third. Right now it's kind of in the middle of the photo. So I might bring this up a little bit and kind of bring this maybe over this way. Something like this, just so it's off to the left a little bit. We want to kind of lead the eye over. Right now, there's a bit of a line coming along this edge here, kind of going up around like this. So that's kind of the flow of what my eye does. Yeah, which is good. That's just kind of what you want. You want your eye to kind of flow. You don't want it to be bouncing all around. So you've utilized shutter speed properly here. You've utilized depth of field properly here. An awesome job. Awesome shot. I'm super impressed. Might want to see maybe it's a little bit more color just to kind of get some life from the water. But yeah, tremendous. The next shot, again, a really nice photo. I might just kind of remove a little bit. It was approaching a little bit panoramic. Focus is great. You know, depth of field. Look at the autofocus bits down here. Autofocus bits. That's very technical, Neil. Good job. The shallow depth of field here in the bottom, and the sky's a little bit overexposed. But it's not your fault. Just want to warm it up a little bit, maybe add some vibrance. Yeah, this is cool. I really like what you've done here. Just great job. You could have, you know, if you had have taken that photo and put the boat right in the middle, I would have said, you know, consider putting off to the side or on a third. And you already did that. And you had it like there or whatever it was. So you're letting the eye. Just for example, this is a very common mistake that people make. You see kind of this a lot. In a moving object, whether it's a car, whether it's a boat, whether it's a bird, whatever, they put it at the end. Subconsciously, you want to see where something is going, not really where it's been. So this is actually and as far as rules of photography go, this is kind of the proper decision. You want to see where the thing is going, not really where it's been. So I cropped in real heavy there. So anyways, you know what I mean. You made the right decisions, is what I'm saying. So good job. Next up, same thing. So you have off to the side, you're showing more of where it's going to go versus where it's been, which is great. We're losing a lot of detail in the trees. That's kind of a shame, because that would be amazing if all that detail was there, and we're not going to be able to get it back. But anyways, yeah, that's a cool shot. I love the trees in the background. I wish they were a little bit more visual though. But yeah, nice. It tells a story. Your composition's really good. As I say that, you show me a photo of the subject right in the middle, which is a bit of a no-no. So if we just do this, and if we just do this, boom, that's it. He's on a third. He's actually almost like wrapping around a third a little bit, which is cool. and you nailed the focus completely. Your shutter speed is a little slow, 1/800th of a second. Maybe try 1/1200th or something, 1/1500th here. But this is a fantastic photo, way better than any photo that I have of an eagle. Awesome job. Maybe add a little bit of, pump up the shadows a little bit so we can see this texture and his, you know, some of his body and stuff. That's an awesome shot. Well done. And oh yeah, nice, really cool wave here. This is great. I really like this. And 1/800th of a second. I actually thought that was a little bit quicker. So good job. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm just playing around. Don't mind me. I'm just playing around. That's cool. Yeah, I maybe just consider like pumping up your colors a little bit, maybe on all your photos. Don't be afraid to add a little bit of vibrance or saturation into your photos. Not the common mistake, people go too far. You've not done enough, in my personal subjective opinion, just on the style that I like. I'm not saying that my opinion is right there. This is a subjective process, so I'm not saying you have to add color, but just personally, I would. Jordan, you're up next. What you got for me? So you're utilizing depth of field here, which is great. It looks like you're shooting almost like up though, instead of like straight on. Your architecture, you know, these poles that are coming down straight, get face on with them, like straight on, and shoot like this versus this, because you can tell that you're shooting at an angle, I think. So just be mindful of that. This line down here of the concrete or whatever it is slightly distracting, so I might do this. I'm going to remove that top piece there a little bit. And there's, oh, look at this chromatic aberration there. Let's see if the tool works. No, the tool's like, nope. Anyways, this is cool though, because there's two ways you could have approached this, and both ways there's no really right decision or wrong decision. You could have made this thing the focus in the background and had that in focus and these blown out of focus, or you could have made these in focus and like it is. So it's a cool shot. I would just like watch your composition, make sure that you're flat on straight with something, especially in architecture, unless it's really exaggerated. Next photo. Okay, so I like your colors here. Your color saturation is I would say almost perfect. Your contrast's a little high. It's such a harsh, like bright green to black. So just be mindful of that a little bit. I would say there's kind of 3 mistakes here, and all kind of minor mistakes. You cut off the top of the building, so I really want to see the top of that building. I think there's a little bit too much of the tree, there's too much of the building, and there's too much of the thing on the left. We have 3 main subjects here. I don't know what is the subject here. Is it this dude, or is it this the fountain, or is it the building, or is it the tree? So we have to kind of decide. I might even want to see it something like this. We get a little bit of the guy, we get a little bit of the tree, but the main subject here is the building, and we can maybe remove this. I don't usually do this in Lightroom, so anyway, see what you know what I mean. So pick a main subject. I think you had a little bit too much going on there, and also these are too close, so it's going to be out of focus. Your depth of field isn't quite perfect, but you nailed the color, so I really like the color balance and the saturation level you chose. Next one. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, I like this one a lot. So the sign at the top, that was the first thing I noticed. I just kind of want to remove because it was distracting. Other than that, I don't think I'd change anything. I really like what you've done here. The story is the signs. Those are the subject, even though they're not the biggest subject in the picture. Obviously the massive guitar is one of the subjects, or could be the subject, but the fact that it's out of focus subconsciously eliminates it from your perspective. You know that the signs are the subject. You want to read them, you want to look at them. It's grungy, it's cool, it matches the the music and stuff. That's really awesome. This light post down here though, might remove, so I'd go into Photoshop and remove all that and stuff. But yeah, that really cool shot. Next up, nice, very symbolizing photo. The flag being cut off and just kind of coming in there, I'm not really a big fan of. It looks like if you took maybe like 2 steps to your right to get that flagpole in, and if you could make the flag like be above the helmet or something. But that's like not a cloud in the sky, which is cool. I think I can see a mosquito right here, so I might remove that. But yeah, I like what's being symbolized here. It's a very powerful photo from a photographer's perspective. I kind of want to see that whole pole in there though, just because it's coming in at an angle. It's just it feels unrealistic. Need the puppers. He won. What? 1/1250th of a second. I would have guessed like 1/250th of a second. I'm surprised that there's this much motion blur in this. He must have been walking pretty fast or running. But so this is, I don't mean this to sound rude, but this is a throwaway photo for me, or it should be for anyone, because it is out of focus. From a photography perspective, try and nail the focus every single time. If you like, don't settle for motion blur. If you think it's too blurry, or if you think take a photo, look at the back of your camera. Oh crap, that's a little bit blurry. Zoom in, make sure if it's in focus. If it's not, maybe I should increase my shutter speed a little bit. Jump up from 1250 to 2000ths of a second, something like that. So just be really mindful of your shutter speed and movement. Make sure you're checking your photos on the back of your camera every time, because maybe you took this photo and it looked on focus or in focus on the back of the camera, and then you get to the computer and you're like, oh crap, it's not in focus. That's happened to me so many times. So one of those things that you always have to kind of consciously be aware of. But yeah, thanks for sharing. Kyle, you are next. We go from a dog to a kitty. Nice. I don't want to break any news here, but just want to let you guys know that I am moving in September, so it's 3 months away, and the place that I'm moving into allows kitties, allows cats. So I will be getting a cat. You heard it here first, and he or she will be making appearances with me in some videos, so look out for that. Anyways, cool photo. It's I can see some noise up here, which is not your fault. You're shooting indoors, I can tell. What if we just add some, and this is a JPEG, so it's not really going to work, but looks like the eyes are in focus, which is great. The paw's out of focus. I would have liked to see, I think your depth of field is a little bit too shallow. I'd like to see the eyes in focus and the nose in focus. There might be a little bit of motion blur in here as well. Yeah, you're shooting at 1/100th of a second, ISO 6400. Not your fault. The ISO is not your fault. The aperture 1.8, perfect. So you shot this with a 50 millimeter nifty 50. One of my favorite lenses. Awesome. Yeah, your shutter speed is your problem there, but I've shot inside even with a 50 at 1.8. It is super difficult to try and get something usable. So I mean, look at the bokeh in the background of the lights. That's pretty cool. It feels a little dark though, so maybe just brighten it up a bit. Next tab. Oh, heck yeah. Nail that depth of field. That's awesome. So the first thing I did notice is that your horizon isn't straight, so I'm just gonna do that, and it looks to be, the color balance is off just a little bit, I think. I'm just gonna play around with some colors here. Anyways, this is pretty cool. Foreground, shallow depth of field out of focus, subject in focus, not in the middle, on a lower third, which is great. Horizon's not in a third; it's on an upper. It's not in the middle; it's on an upper third, which is great. The water in the background, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like this shot. Well done. Absolutely nailed the focus. Impressive. Next shot. Ooh, cool. Let's check your horizon here. Your horizon's not straight, so we'll fix that. Number one rule, make sure your horizon's straight. And you're telling a story here, which is great. Sunset, I've done this hundreds of times in Prince Edward Island when I lived there. Go to the beach at sunset, just kind of sit, relax on a piece of driftwood. So this, I can totally relate to this photo. So this is pretty cool. Really well done. It's just playing around. Don't mind me, just playing around, just seeing what I can do. There's some chromatic aberration in the back of his head, and I'm sure it's not green in real life. But yeah, it's cool. I like stories, or I like photographs like this that tell a story. So thank you for sharing that one. Next up, ooh, see your horizon. It's not totally straight, but you were close. That looks like, is that the Atlantis in the Bahamas in the background? Let me know in the comments if I'm right. So they've got a really green, almost split tone tinge to this. So there's a lot of aqua. See the aqua? How that changes quite a bit. If I remove all of that, it gets a little bit more realistic. Bring up some shadows, bring down some highlights a little bit. It's a little overexposed. It's not your fault though. It's with humidity comes really fog. No, it's not fog, but it's, you know, non-clear skies. I don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying. Cool. Yeah, you're showing where the boat's going, not where it's been, which in a previous video I said is you know, the thing you want to do. Good job. Ah, cool. This is a really cool photo. Shutter speed, I think there might be an issue. Does it say? Nope, I don't have information here, but I can see some blurriness, I feel. It's not too bad. I think you probably shot this with a 50 again. This is a very dramatic photo. It tells a story of a life, really. It's awesome. This is really cool. Maybe consider black and white. Sometimes with a powerful photo like this, even just changing it to black and white, kind of, not that there's anything wrong with the color. The color was fine, but your mind thinks about color at the same time you're thinking about the subject. If you remove the color, you're just thinking about the subject a lot of the times. So that's a really nice shot. Well done. Thank you for sharing, Kyle. Morgan is up next. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he said these were all from Japan, which is pretty cool. That's a nice sunset. See the silhouette that's almost there? If we just bring down the shadows a little bit and just complete that silhouette. That's probably all I do. That's, I mean, awesome reflection on the water there. Awesome reflection of the poles and the power lines and stuff, which is really cool. I might remove the ones at the top though and just kind of come down maybe like this or something. I find them are maybe a little bit distracting, but I'll remove that roof at the top. Maybe something like this. I like the, yeah, I like this. This nice shot. Next up, ooh, the cherry blossom trees. Those are cool. So you have kind of a road of water in the middle coming like this. So we want to make sure that that's really directly centered, because that's going to make our subconscious eye really happy. We're going to bring this down to remove this little leaf up there, or the branch that's distracting. So I'm thinking that that's probably pretty symmetrical there. Your sky is really overblown though, so I can't really fix that, but you're very close to being like super straight on, super symmetrical, so good job. And next up, so okay, this is very split toned. I cannot master split toning. I'm not good at it. Some people are just fantastic at it. I'm just not. But pretty cool silhouette shot here. Yeah, good, nice leading lines in here. Nice sunset. Next up, Tony, the Lonely Macaroni. Tony's done some work for me in the past, some graphic design work, so I'm happy that she contributed some photographs here. She has some awesome work. I'm aware of it because I follow her on Instagram. This is a real nice night shot. A little noisy, but what can you do when you're shooting at night? But yeah, this is a very like summer kind of Route 66. Oh, it's the United States. That's cool. Yeah, this is there's a lot of black space at the top though. Let me just kind of bring this down a little bit. Looks to be a light or a dead pixel or something there. Just fixing up the little things. Yeah, it's a cool shot. Next up, I have seen this photo before on your Instagram, and it is fantastic. It really is tremendous. I'm super jealous of this photo. This could be on like a blown up on a billboard or something. It's pretty great. I don't think I'd change anything. The tree being cut off there is maybe just a little distracting. I might just kind of do that and then kind of come down like this. Other than that, I mean, the sun in the background is fantastic. The way that the light hits off different angles of the skate park is great. You can see the highlights in his hair of the sun hitting. Really nice shot. I think you're probably at, is it Pier 49 in San Francisco where all the seals go? I don't know, it's around there somewhere. He's almost like thinking like, that's a cool shot. I think your color balance for me personally is off a little bit. There's like some green or aqua in his fur or hair or coat or whatever you want to call that. But let me see what this looks like in black and white. That's cool. See, this is a good example of kind of where it leads your eye. So your eye kind of starts here, but then it almost flows up and around like this and up, and then kind of leads your eye back here. So this photo, even if you don't notice, it has some nice flow. I've just graffitied your photograph. I apologize. This is cool. I like this a lot. Kind of like the photograph we saw earlier in this episode. I think of the railings that were in focus, but the background was out of focus. Opposite, foreground out of focus, background in focus. That is the Golden Gate Bridge, which usually you see in color, but she's decided to make it black and white here, and I think it was the right decision. This is framing within a frame. So this is up the top is not really the subject. This isn't really the subject. This isn't really the subject. The frame is here, like this. So it is framed. What are you doing? There we go. The frame is done very nicely, right along here. Perfect composition, keeping the the pole or the whatever of the bridge, just perfect. Great job. Next up. Ooh. This is so good. It's so good. You can buy these glass balls on Amazon and stuff. I think they're like $20 or $30. So this is a very specific type of photography. You can see it in different landscapes and even model shots and stuff. I've never personally done it, but it is something that I've always wanted to do, and I really appreciate it, especially when it's done properly, and you freaking nailed it here. Just, man, that's cool. Colors, I like the colors, what you've done there. It's almost split toned a little bit. It's at sunset. It looks like this is fantastic. I do want to see what it looks like in black and white though. Yeah, but man, I love it. I would love to have this printed on a wall somewhere. Great job. This one feels like there's you've desaturated certain parts of this. So I'm not really a fan of selective color. So this one, for me, just from a style perspective, I don't really like, but that really comes down to personal taste. Everyone has their own style and personal taste, but I'm usually not a fan of selective color, and it kind of looks like that's what you did here. But your framing from a photography perspective is just fantastic. Look at this. All of that frames the subject, and it's out of focus. Great. Like, some people just have that eye. Some people just have that ability to frame things subconsciously. Great job. Love it. Next up, cool. Nice, like kind of retro style shot. You got down low. You didn't just stand there and take it from a human perspective. You got down low at a corner and shot that way. So that's awesome. I really like that. Yeah, I can tell you have a specific editing color style. Almost like, it's not really 70s, but it almost has like a filter of like a retro filter or something kind of onto it. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean in a good way. It's nice to see someone have a personal style. That's cool. Cool. Another one of these shots. I really like that one. I think the sky to me though there's not really anything interesting going on in the sky. So I'd personally probably do something like this that really makes this subject a little bit bigger. It kind of lost me a little bit having all that negative space above, and maybe just lose the thing on the side. Maybe bring this in so it's symmetrical again. I think it's okay to have the subject dead center like this in a photograph like this because it is mirrored. Like it's just, I don't know. It works. It's symmetry, but it's not because it's mirrored, and it's cool. I'm gonna have to get one of these things. You've inspired me to get one. So thank you guys so much. I think that was the last. Yeah, it's the last person. So thank you guys so much for sharing your photos. It's so fun to go through and look at other people's photography. There were some amazing shots in this episode. This is probably one of my favorite episodes. So thank you guys thank you, Alex, Jordan, Kyle, Morgan, and Tony. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Hope you can hit the subscribe button down below. If you are watching and you're not subscribed, that would be great. Hit the like button, leave feedback. And if you want to send in your photography, you can email me at productions@posttopostshow.com. Include no more than 10, usually between 5 and 10 photographs, and I'll add you to the list, and you can be in a future episode. So thanks guys for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.